Hi, Sequels friends, welcome back. I'm keeping it a little extra low key today with just a cozy desk setup because I am behind on telling you what sold for the month of March and April. So this one's going to be all screen recorded and I'll share my top flips, a few surprising categories, and a full breakdown, including trends from my 73 sales across all platforms. Let's get into it. If you are a Sequels BFF, which means you've been watching this channel for a while, you will definitely recognize this spreadsheet. This is what I always refer to as my handy dandy spreadsheet, and it's where I keep my inventory as well as keeping track of my sales. I thought this would be a good place to start with big picture stats overview. So across both months, I sold 73 total items for a total gross sales of $1,795, and I ended up putting in my pocket just over $1,075 in net profit. Now my average sale price came in at just $13.28, but I have a very strong 61% ROI. That means out of all of my sales, I typically put $61 into my pocket, and I had an 11.4% sell-through rate, something I'm trying to be a little bit better about keeping track of. Moving on to sales by category. For the month of March, my best performing categories were home, which is consistent, it's always at the top, but two surprises that came up were intimates as well as men's jackets. Both of them did decent dollar sales, and look at those sell-through rates. I sold through 80% of my intimates inventory and 100% of my men's jacket inventory, which means it's time to go shopping for both. Let's not forget to talk about sales by category for April. As per usual, home is at the top of the list. Also, a regular that we see a lot are tops at the bottom of the list there. But again, men's jackets, I thrifted some more, I sold some more, and also sweaters. I think this is fun to point out as these are typically fall winter things, but they do still move in spring. You don't need to be as heavy on inventory, but if you see something good while you're out thrifting, don't hesitate to pick it up. Speaking of bestsellers, let's start out with the top 5 best-selling items for these 2 months. First up is this London Fog wool coat. You guys may be reminded of this because it sold in another month, but it was returned and it sold quickly right after I relisted it, all in on eBay for $105.29, and I ended up making a profit of $71.33. I do want to remind you guys, I did end up paying up for this one at $8, but when it's vintage, made in the USA, a quality brand name like London Fog, and it's in wool, a great silhouette, it can't be beat, and remember, it could still sell in spring. If you guys watched any of my videos for a while, you know that my neighbor hands me over these dialysis Nepro shakes, and they're always guaranteed to sell quickly. This one sold just within 8 days of listing, all in at $86.82, and I put $66.97 in my pocket. Another fun vintage coat. This is a trench coat with a wool lining, so it's perfect for spring as well as fall or winter. I found this beauty in the bins and paid a whopping 89 cents, and I sold it on Etsy for $75.65 all in with free shipping, and I ended up putting in my pocket $60.39. These Mr. B's boots, you guys will remember from a haul back during holiday. I actually sold these on Mercari for an offer of $53.10, as I'd been holding on to them for about 3 months, and I made a net profit of $40.81. And then last of the BOLOs is a brand that you should not be sleeping on. It is Quince. This was a cashmere oversized boyfriend cardigan, another Bins find. It was a little bit rough. It had some pilling on it. I did do some initial fabric shaving. It did not all come off, so I just showed it in the pictures. You could get a little bit more for this if it was not pilled. This one sold on eBay all in at $55.94, and I made a profit of $38.70. It's only fair if we talk about the winners, we need to talk about some losers. Here are the items that made smaller profits and had slower sales. If we scroll all the way down to the bottom here, everything highlighted in blue net me less than $5. And there are some trends here. I'm seeing t-shirts and I'm seeing costume jewelry. I'm also seeing that 9 out of the 12 worst sellers came from mystery boxes, and 7 out of those 12 had to be deleted and relisted 3 times or more. What did I learn from this? If it is a stinker, let it go. Don't keep trying to make it work. Lower the price sooner and get it out the door. That helps to feed the algorithm and helps to make room for some better, hopefully more high profit items. Let's talk about a few more winners. I'm going to call these the honorable mentions. This vintage 80s London Fog classic trench coat. It is great. It has the wool thinsulate layer in it. Definitely worth the $1.67 pickup at the Bins. This one sold on eBay all in at $47.94, and I made a profit of $31.64. I knew this vintage jacket would be worth the $3.50 investment. The cool tapestry Aztec print is a must, and this one sold in less than a month, listed on Etsy for the full $49 asking price, and I made $31.19 after fees and free shipping. I did not know that this Talbot's flannel would sell. It was an unexpected bolo, super cozy and modest. I paid up for this one at $4.75 and I took a risk. It sold all in on Etsy for $44.10 and I made a profit of $30.03. This one is a no-brainer. Pleated trousers, especially in wool and plus sizes, are solid movers. Modern cut, vintage cuts, they're all winners. This one sold all in on eBay for $41.79 and I had a profit of $24.88. Another one that I took a risk on, this was my first time selling a vintage men's robe, and I'm definitely going to continue to grab them. This one sold faster than I anticipated within a week on Etsy, all in at $33.15. I had $1.65 in this as it was a Bins find, put $21.86 in my pocket. I've told you guys a gazillion times, linens at the Bins are always worth the pickup. Vintage florals, very traditional vibes. These are actually a set of valances. Yeah, who would have known? But that 90s home decor thing is trending. I ended up making a profit of $23.72 on these. Now this did not make me over a $20 profit, but it sold just within 2 days of listing. It is Carriage Court cardigan. It was my fastest sell, and it is chunky knit, neutral color, larger size. That is the trifecta when it comes to resell. I actually got this for free. I have a humongous freebie haul coming up. Make sure you hit that subscribe if you don't want to miss out on that. And then this is just a reminder, those top bins when you're at Goodwill full of hats, they are only $1. And while you will not break the bank on the profit that you make on these, it is definitely a great return on your investment. I bought this for $1, sold it just within a month or two of listing, and put $11.80 in my pocket. So what are some key takeaways and trends that we learned about based on March and April's sales? First off, vintage coats sell even in spring. If it's quality and it's vintage, it is definitely worth the pickup. Plus size is always consistent, especially when it's vintage. I have a very well-established plus size customer, and if you do not, I would encourage you to go ahead and give that market a try. You are missing out. Apparently, modest sleepwear can be worth decent money. I never would have thought I would make more than 20 bucks on a flannel grandma nightgown, but you can. Don't sleep on linens, especially curtains, when you're at the Goodwill bins. I've told you guys this lots of times. Curtains, placemats, bedding, even fabric can sell for big, big money. Next up, eBay continues to be the backbone of my reselling business. Yes, there are specific wins on Etsy when it comes to vintage, but even vintage as well as new goods sell consistently for me on eBay. Here's a breakdown of where my sales happened for March and April. eBay made up 56% of my sales. Poshmark came in at 30%. Etsy at 9%, Mercari at 5%. Do know, guys, these are based on unit sales. We do know that this would change a little bit when it comes to dollars, as I do make a higher dollar value on Etsy. And another reminder about categories. I'm seeing success with vintage jackets. I'm seeing success with sweaters, vintage and modern. Home textiles specifically, as well as intimates, like I said before, nightgowns, pajamas, bras, and slips. They are definitely moving, and I hope you find this information useful. Thanks for hanging out with me during this slower paced recap. Let me know if you like this style of breakdown, or if you prefer the older style. And of course, I would love to hear what's been selling for you this spring. So go ahead and drop your top sale in the comments below. And I'll see you next Wednesday with some more reselling content. Take care, friends. Bye-bye.